Hi there. Welcome. I'm Eric Linter with your Starspeak horoscope for the second half of June 2016. These be trying times, folks. We've got four planets retrograding now. Those would be Mars and Saturn, Neptune, newly retrograde, and Pluto. And as many of you regular viewers know, we've been dealing for several months with a mutable T square. Saturn has been testing both Jupiter in Virgo and Neptune in Pisces, forming the T. And as planets move through Gemini, whether it's the Moon or Mercury, and recently the Sun and Venus, we have a mutable grand cross, the holy trifecta of challenging alignments. Essentially, clarity, decision making, fact gathering are all very difficult under these influences. And I think each of us has a responsibility to effectively be willing to pause before making judgment. Jupiter is one of the great planets of knowledge and religion. Neptune is a planet of fantasy and sometimes confusion. And Saturn is the ultra realist. So with these three, the principal components of this grand cross, and on some days merely a mutable T square, we're all kind of, flailing about trying to get our minds settled and feel some degree of clarity about life. And it's just a really daunting, kind of climate to get that clarity. The moon is waxing full as this second half of the month begins, and so there's again a certain push and impatience to get on with life. But on Friday, the 17th, Saturn makes an exact square to Neptune, which emphatically drives home this point that things are not necessarily what they seem to be. So don't believe what you read or even see on television, because it's so easy now to bend and distort facts and make things seem what they are not. It's a kind of shell game that's going on in many areas around the globe. That waxing moon comes to its culminating full stage on Monday the 20th, and this is a very important and busy day astrologically. First, in the early morning, we've got the full moon at the 29th degree of Sagittarius, the Sun at the 29th degree of Gemini. These are completion points in astrology. And again, maybe some great truth is going to be revealed. This could certainly impact the political worlds or various religious organizations. And that same day, a little later in the morning, Mercury forms an opposition to Saturn and Sagittarius. So again, we're dealing with a grand cross energy, making it very difficult. It's as if no matter which way you turn, there's some kind of obstacle or, difficulty that you're going to experience. Later, Mercury is in a square to Neptune. If you're faced with a big decision, you might just want to defer, put it off, delay, make an excuse. It's okay. In times when the stars are not auspicious, we should respect those facts. And, sometimes stalling for time is the best thing we can do. That evening, the sun arrives in Cancer and summer begins. This is also summer solstice, the longest, most light-filled day of the year, and cause for celebration ordinarily. Again, it comes in a time where we've got great challenges, but remember, great challenges are merely alignments that show a tremendous amount of energy is being visited upon us here on the earth plane. And always the question is, how do we work with these energies? Some people will take the grand square and be supremely and superbly motivated and inspired. And there may be breakthroughs in medicine or healing, or yes, even politics around this full moon. As we move on Wednesday the 22nd, Mercury is in a testing angle with Jupiter, and some folks will exaggerate. Even good intentioned people may sign on for a commitment that in the end they can't quite measure up to their own expectations. So be careful, think things through. Don't jump into something that you're going to find either you can't or are unable to deliver on. We have a few days that are relatively peaceful later in the week as we head into the weekend of the 25th and 26th. Activity levels are again on the rise. On Sunday, a very potent trine between Jupiter and Pluto is exact. This is really good for research, decision making, taking care of material plane matters, whether it's working in your garden or deciding which bills to pay or setting priorities. Later Sunday night, Mercury is in a fabulous sextile with Uranus, and intuitive faculties are really sharp. So if you get a premonition or a gut hunch, listen carefully on the afternoon and evening of the 26th. Early the next day, late morning really, Venus is in an exact trine to Neptune. These are the two planets of love. One is personal, the other unconditional. And this certainly promotes goodwill amongst co-workers, friends, family members. For artists, it's an aspect that shows a period of great creativity and inspiration. Retrograding Mars is going to complete that retrograde a little later in the week on Wednesday, the 29th. And this is a planet, as we know, Mars from mythology is the god of war. This is a planet sometimes associated with bad tempers and acts of violence. There may be more news of hostilities in various parts of the world around this time. Hopefully they will be relatively minor, but any kind of violence is disturbing in today's world. The final major aspect of the month would be a Venus opposition with Pluto shortly before midnight on Thursday the 30th. This is going to make some bonds between partners in business and even romantic partners much stronger. On the other hand, it may create a climate of competition and even outright hostility fueled by jealousy. And the key thing here is to assess common ground, what shared interests you might have with other people. And if somebody's pushiness is putting you on the defensive, the odds are you're better off backing away from that relationship and perhaps even cutting ties. But, don't be quick to sever those ties. You may find that the best thing really is compromise. But again, where compromise is not possible, be true to yourself and be willing to say no or look for new sources of support. And with that note, I'm going to complete the discussion of the June stars. If you'd like to contact me, you can shoot me an email at stars@ericlinter.com. And remember, my daily forecasts, which give you guidance on literally a day-by-day basis, are available at the spiritofchange.org website. Remember, keep looking up.